Happy New Blue Rhythmic Storm Year, kin folks. May we all evolve higher. The Holomind Perceiver is not a difficult thing to know and use once it is broken down by parts and defined. It can be thought of as a telepathically engraved nanochip that accommodates and coordinates new intergalactic cosmic function that we will need in our ancient future. In the golden ages, we will be telepathically inclined, operating as such. Therefore, we won't need any cell phones, televisions, computers, satellites floating around the planet, or anything outside of ourselves. We have everything we need contained within our brain for mind, will, and spirit to use. So we don't need airplanes, boats, cars, or spacecrafts to travel, no matter what dimension we're in, because we will do what our ancestors did, travel by way of light bodies, energy, and frequencies. We are at the threshold of the golden ages now. Therefore, part of my job is to explain, to share, and to use the information given to us by the Syrian Star Councils in the divine plan for our upgrade. Now, we left off at learning the 4 outer dimensions and all of its components. We then went to the radial dimensions and learned about the 4 hyperplasmic generators. Now we will look at the function of the horizontal axis. This is the 2 force fields of the horizontal time dimension. To the left, which is the right side of our brain, is the Dumm-Quali red thermic force field that is positive and magnetizes. It represents heat and activates the superconscious mental sphere. The superconscious can be thought of as our higher self or our true self. It is universal consciousness. Now, on the right side, which is our left side of our brain, is called Dumm-Dwar blue luminous force field. And it is negative. When we say negative, we mean that it receives, because we're talking energy. It also represents light and activates the subliminal conscious mental sphere. This sphere is below the threshold. It processes signals and thought frequencies that are beyond our mental sensory threshold from our biological organisms. Subliminal means that we are operating independent of past and future. Notice the highlighter here from the 11th axis that runs from one side to the other. This is our energizing cores. Notice this one on the left is squiggly. By the time it gets to the right side, it is oscillating. Notice how they switch polarity on the 10th axis in the 5th time dimension. It goes from sublimating to activating. Same way with the 12th axis. Activating, and it switches polarities, and it's now sublimating. We call these axes 10 and 12 the transformer insulator units. The 9th time dimension that we see in the middle here will be discussed in another video, so stay tuned. Today is Ken 21, Red Galactic Dragon, with the power of birth, action to nurture, and the essence of being. Looking at the 3 matrices of time, space, and synchronicity, we see that time is V3H1. It's located in the 1st time dimension, 1st mental sphere. We're talking cosmic creation in preconscious. Time is on the 1st circuit, the 9th magnitude, sublimating on the solar intention of external time flow in cosmic creation. So let's break down all of those scientific sounding words. We can recall that cosmic creation deals with the mastery of cosmic forces through the self-creation of the energy of space. In other words, we can get rid of the false self that we have accepted or was conditioned with. We can get rid of that and recreate ourselves. We can get rid of the false self that may be lingering in our presence, because time is an external time, which is in our present. So we're not victims. This is sublimating. Sublimating means that there's an inward action. Inward actions usually begin in the mind. We know that time is of the mind and mind is of the time. Space, V7H6. Space is on the 7th magnitude of the 6th dimension of ESP, extrasensory perception. It's sublimating communication in alpha alpha. Once again, alpha alpha is the force field of profound samadhi, meaning you're totally aware of what is happening, of what is going on. It's also the preconscious. When we talk about the preconscious, we're talking about what we were taught, what we believe, what we were taught to believe when we were children, belief systems or even fears and phobias, even some good karma that perhaps came from another lifetime, a past life. We are receiving subliminal communication in our space. So this can be interpreted as the energy in our space is charged with paranormal activity. When we say paranormal, we're talking telepathy, we're talking disappearing, we're talking bilocation, we're talking all the things that we see in the movies, but it's actually real. That's considered paranormal. So our space is charged with these type of activities if we're tuned in and aware of it. But it will be under the threshold, meaning not openly visible. All right? Only you know what's going on. Nobody else really knows unless you try to explain. And have you ever tried to explain something subliminal to someone else? It doesn't really come out the way that you hope that it does. But we can easily use and develop our untapped psychic energy here. So that means we can charge up our space in higher energy and then create it anew. Perhaps you don't like the space you're in. Change it. Synchronicity, V6H1. This particular matrix is also in the first time dimension, first mental sphere. We're starting over anew in a new year. This is on the 12th magnitude and it sublimates crystal cooperation and external time flow of cosmic creation. There is an inward occurrence of synchronization that is cooperating with our present time, which is excellent news and a wonderful opportunity to get rid of conditioned expectations of how we should think or how patterns should look in order for synchronicity to appear. This matrices tells us that it is happening in our present. Synchronicity is happening in a subliminal manner. This is a very spiritual plasma, a biopsychic plasma. Time for us to set our goals and begin to nurture them and just simply to be in this new year. Peace to the God.